wonder if we should tell them this week about this intro thing.
I mean, we do have merch.
Yeah. Give them an opportunity. All right. Yeah, we should tell them. All right, you ready?
Ready, let's do this.
Let's go. Hello and welcome to Talk Heathen. Today's January 26th, 2020, Season 4, Episode 4. I'm Eric Murphy.
I'm Bianca.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you?
I am kind of tired, but I'm caffeinating, so I'm working on it.
Good.
How was your week?
It was good. I was on your Twitch stream on Thursday? No.
Saturday.
Saturday. You do too.
That was yesterday.
Saturday. It was yesterday. It's been a long week. Yeah, they bribed me into playing Portal with tacos.
Well, because you never played Portal before.
Well,
I know. But there was a moment. It was amazing because V read, it said, the cake is a lie, and V looked at it and just went, oh, is this where it comes from? We're like, so it was nice. It was good.
It was fun. But the larger moral of the story is I can be bribed with tacos. So
I feel
use
like
that wisely.
Yeah, it sounds like your mic might be out.
My mic? Yeah, it doesn't sound correct.
No, I'm sure we're going to work on that. But in the meantime, this week has been pretty darn good. Had another Christian apologist on my thing, my channel. I messed up the audio, and so it doubled the guests, and so it sounded very ethereal the entire time. But it was only the guest, so I sounded fine, and the other person sounded like this. So it was, I'm working on it.
Okay. Oh, I'm back.
Ah!
Yay.
All right. Yeah. But as far as Talk Heathen is concerned, I'm really, really excited. We've been sitting on some news for a while, and I think it's time to announce. We're not going to do the big reveal today, but the Talk Heathen logo is one that, while we adore it, that black tee just does not sit well on a black shirt. It just doesn't lend itself very well to it. And we've been working on and imagining how we would like to see a logo be. And I think we found it. But that means that our current stuff, it's going to be gone. We're going to take it down. And in the history of Talk Heathen, we've never actually put merchandise out. There was a black shirt that tee just blended into under the videos the last 2 weeks.
Okay.
But other than that, the only way you were able to get Talk Heathen merch is if you came to the Freethought library and bought it in person. It was not available anywhere else.
All right.
So here's what we're going to do. In a few weeks, we're going to move to that new logo and the new branding, and it's going to be gone forever. So if you look under this video right now, there are links to actually buy OG Talk Heathen merch, and it's only going to be available for a little while because once we move to that new logo, they're gone. So you can either go beneath this video or you can go to bit.ly, bit.ly/AEN merch and pick up your Talk Heathen shirt and mug and coffee mug.
Yes.
I'm so excited. So definitely make sure you pick that up because when it's gone, it's just gone.
It's going to go.
Yeah, and I'm excited to get this. It's so good. It's so good.
It's going to be fun.
Definitely. So with that said, before we dive into calls, I do want to say that we didn't get a lot of calls today. So if you are a believer or if you have something, if you believe the earth is flat, if you think that the Trilateral Commission and the Bilderberg Society are working in collusion with George Soros to pay us fat sums of money, please give us a call. We would love to talk to you. Now is the time, because if not, we're going to wind up vamping, and you don't want that. Nobody
We're
wants
interesting.
that.
We're not that interesting.
Right? Yeah. Also, the Talk Heathen is a production of the atheist community of Austin. It's a 501c3 nonprofit that we adore. I mean, as hosts, we're not paid to be here. We're volunteers just like anybody else. And the money that does come in from advertising, the money that does come in from Patreon goes to supporting putting on content like this and supporting organizations that are doing good work all over. So if you like what we do, or if you support that cause, and you can, consider going to patreon.com/talkheathen-to-me. You get access to stuff, and it's good. Please consider doing that.
You get stuff, basically.
You get stuff. You get to know that you're supporting something that is doing good work.
Yeah.
And
I get a shout out on the show.
You do get a shout. Oh, if you're one of our top 5 patrons.
That's true.
You saved my butt twice in a week, 2 weeks in a row now. Yes, I am going to be reading out the top 5 patrons at about 2/3 of the way through the episode. So if you want to hear your name read out, I'm going to be refreshing that patron list before I read it. Again, patreon.com/talkheathen-to-me. And one more very important announcement. Because I've got the platform and because I can. Hey, Megan, happy birthday.
Yay. Happy birthday, Megan.
Thank you for being awesome. All right, that said, you ready to dive into calls?
Let's do it.
All right, who are we talking to first?
Let's take Alex in Hungary.
Ooh, Alex, you're live with Eric and V. How are you doing? Alex in Hungary. Alex going once.
Sorry.
Hey!
Here. Hi, Eric. Hi, V.
Hello.
I turned off the mic.
That's okay.
No worries.
What'd you want to talk about?
Well, I wanted to ask about something first.
Yeah.
It's mostly about, what do you rather want people to believe? So the truth, right?
That's kind of an interesting way of putting it, because I don't think you choose your beliefs. I think that your beliefs are the conclusions that you come up to when you use that best evidence, available, when you use the tools in your epistemological toolbox to decipher and understand a thing. And so,
yes, and you would like to influence people and their beliefs with the show, right?
I want to influence people's thought process.
Yeah, I'd say that's what I would say is the beliefs are secondary. I think that if you are thinking with a clear thought process that is rational, that is logical, you will come to truer beliefs by necessity, just kind of as a domino effect. So I don't think the goal is to talk to people about changing their beliefs so much as changing the way they think about their beliefs.
Yeah, because let's say they're using the same tools that we are, and they come up with a different conclusion. Well, we want to know because we want to be intellectually honest and thorough. And so if there's something that we missed and we're trying to use the best tools we can and we come up to different conclusions, that's where I feel some of the most interesting conversations are.
It's just, you don't think that's a problem, right? I'm not trying to imply that you have ever said anything like that, just so you know that you don't think that's a problem if they come to a different conclusion.
No.
Because I have heard plenty of people like on YouTube that they are very, their epistemology is in the right place, as I would judge. They just come to different conclusions.
See, and that's where, if you think that, epistemically they're approaching it in a good way, why? Isn't that a good question? Why? If you both, respect and understand, hey, this is how you're coming at it, then why did we come to different conclusions? Is it an ideological thing? Is it an entirely subjective thing? Are we arguing about whether or not Nutella is food? Is it that kind of thing? Or is it, some deeper understanding of the nature of the universe? And if it's one of those things, if it's, impacting the way that you understand the world, then I really do want to find out why that's different.
I think it's more, external world skepticism. It's we don't actually know reality, only what we experience. And so, they have different experiences and they judge them like that. And maybe they have experiences like that. So they judge.
I'm sorry, I don't understand that. Could you say that again?
So they have, we never actually know what's in reality. We only have our experiences to judge it based on.
Right. But that said, can we agree that even though we don't have access to capital T truth about most things, unless they're defined to be true, that you don't throw your hands up and say, oh, well, never mind. You still do the best you can. You assign a confidence value to what you're looking at and go, okay, I am 98% sure that this is the case.
Yes, but for me personally, it's more about what's useful. So if believing in something, it gets me the result I want, then it's good enough for me.
Pragmatism.
So if, would it feel good to think that you have $1 million in your bank account, even if you don't?
Yeah, but that's not about feeling good. I can't believe that. I can't choose to just believe that I can fly now.
Okay, so help me. Can you give me an example of a pragmatic truth that may not correspond to the rest of reality? That's preferable. I don't understand. Help me here.
I did something and it gets me a result that I wanted. So I do it again. Maybe it gets me the result again. Mm-hmm. It's not necessarily true that I will get the same result, but if enough times I get preferable results, I think I'm reasonable in thinking that I'm doing as well as I can.
Well, I think that can be one way of determining things, but there are levels to that as well, right? There's repeatable experiments that scientists use to determine scientific facts about the world. But there's also things like, every time I wear this pair of socks.
Get out of my head. I was thinking Lucky Socks. Go ahead.
Every time I wear this pair of socks, I win the basketball game, right? And that maybe there's a correlation there, maybe there isn't. So I think that repeatable experiments are important, but you got to make sure you're factoring in causation versus correlation as well.
But you can't always do that, right?
Agreed. Mm-hmm. But where you can, you should. I mean, especially when it's for benign things, you need to develop the habit of practicing skepticism. It shouldn't just be something that sits on the shelf for big questions. And if you can start working that skepticism in, then you get into the habit, and it helps because then it's something that pops into your head as you're learning or experiencing more things.
Yeah, well, I'm a skeptic as long as I can, but when I have to make a decision, I'm trying to base it on past experience. And I think if theists are doing the same, they have past experiences, I think their epistemology is mostly in the right place.
Really? Okay, so hold on. Would you agree that either a God exists or a God does, or not? Right? Either that is a claim that is true or a claim that is not true.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
So does it matter what people believe when it comes to whether or not it's true?
No.
Okay. So are you comfortable with saying, hey, you're believing something for possibly not the best reasons? Or are you pragmatically saying, well, just let them believe if it makes them feel good? I'm trying to parse that a bit.
It's not about if it makes them feel good. They can't change it by themselves. We might do our best, but what I would say is our efforts might be more useful sometimes in other places and not focused on the question of God necessarily.
Well, I mean, everybody has their cause du jour. You know, that thing that they feel incredibly empowered and important about. For me, atheism is, and the separation between religion and government is incredibly important, especially where I live. Mm-hmm. That said,
I'm not against that.
Sure. No. But
absolutely not.
Well, I mean, what I'm saying is, I have a dear friend of mine who's a trans activist and fighting for LGBTQIA rights. is
I also support
their major cause. And so I remember sitting with them and they were just like, but why aren't you doing this? And I'm sitting on the other side of the table and, oh, but why aren't you doing that? And the thing is the hearts are in the right place, but you need to find that thing that you are excited about, that thing that you want to do and be an activist in and get involved. It doesn't have to be atheism.
That's what I'm a nihilist, so it's just I don't have any of that. There's nothing that makes me excited.
I actually entirely disagree. I am also a nihilist, and I can be excited about things. I just recognize the absurdity of it.
So I'm thinking about your analogy or your example, Alex, about if a Christian has an experience that they can replicate for some reason and they feel like it's a valid replicated experience, then their epistemology is in the right place. My question, the first thing I think of with that is prayer, right? A lot of Christians that I know, and when I was a Christian, I also claimed that prayer works. And when I prayed, I felt better. When I prayed, I could see changes enacted around me, whether that was something I did or something I was looking for that suddenly revealed itself to me. And so back then, with the kind of epistemological tool set that I had, I was using that prayer equals God working. But after more research and after experimenting with other forms of mindfulness and meditation, I realized, yes, maybe it worked, maybe it helped me feel better, but I was drawing the wrong conclusion about why. And the reason it would help me feel better, or the reason that it would attune me to things to keep an eye out for afterwards, is because I was basically hacking my own brain, and I was using my own brain to make myself feel better. And it's still a valid practice, and it's still something that I do, but because I learned how to reason more sufficiently, I was able to draw more accurate conclusions about where it's coming from. And then I wasn't able to use prayer as a bolster for my God belief anymore, which then made me want to change my God belief more easily. Does that make sense?
Hello. Sorry, I got cut out there.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes. There was a. I didn't know if you can hear me, and I didn't hear anything for some time.
Oh, bummer.
Go back and listening, because that was pretty good. And then,
take our word for it. It was awesome.
And if not, then you should call back and we can discuss it. But I think with that, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about before we moved on to the next call?
No, I'm really interested in that part, so I want to listen to that now.
Okay, sounds good. I'll be happy to expound upon it if you call in again.
All right. Thank you.
Take care, man.
Bye.
That sucks.
Yeah, I tried.
You know what's funny is I watched the live chat, and looking at the live chat, it keeps disconnecting. And the reason that is so interesting is because that's been going on here at the ACA for about a week.
Yeah.
I was actually on Truth Wanted with Dan for their new season, episode 1 of their new season, and it was friggin' amazing. And we sat down, and the internet was not able to put the live stream out. And I'm really, really bummed about it, because we laughed and we goofed and we just had a really good time, and we had some kind of crazy stuff that we talked about, and it didn't go out. And so actually our producer Mark is sitting on it and is going to premiere it after the Atheist Experience today.
Okay.
But
so stick around, you guys.
Yeah, the internet's still kind of doing this, and they have. But what's interesting is, in the back, they've been busting their butts that even though the internet is doing that, they found a way to make sure that this can go out live today. So in the back, thank you so much. You guys freaking rock. That said, let's talk to. Yeah. Let's see. Let's talk to Anthony. Anthony in Kerrville, Texas. You're live with Eric and V. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Good.
So,
what would you like to talk about today?
Had something I wanted to throw your way and get some feedback.
Sure. What's up?
I run a freethought group in Kerrville, Texas, which is about 2 hours from you guys. And a few years back, we partnered with the FFRF to put a banner on the courthouse lawn basically like saying the real reason for the season, the roots of Christmas and the non-religious aspects. And they denied us because they basically made the argument that there was enough non-theistic things like reindeer and Santa Claus and stuff like that, so that they didn't have to put our banner up. But they have had a manger up my whole life. I grew up here 30-something years. They've always had a manger seen on the courthouse lawn.
Mm-hmm.
So I've basically been thinking of, so I have a leg to stand on. I know there's atheistic Satanists.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been contemplating aligning myself with the Satanic Temple or the Church of Satan or something, and then seeing if I can get them to put like a statue of Baphomet or something on the lawn, because they wouldn't be. We don't have as much fight because we're saying we're not a religion. We're not a protected class like a recognized religion like Satanism is.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of just like looking for a leg to stand on, essentially.
Yeah.
Legally, I guess.
Well, I know the Satanic Temple does do that quite a bit. So the Church of Satan, not so much. But if you wanted to get in touch with the Satanic Temple, I feel like that would probably be one option. Another is that I believe Wicca is considered to be a protected religion as well at this point. So, I mean, you could just try getting some witchy pentagram type stuff up there. Say you're a Wiccan for the for the duration of whatever this would be, and that's another option.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting with the Satanic Temple because I feel like there are so many things that I'm aligned with on. I love the fact that they are so active, and I love the fact that they are pushing for that kind of thing, and I support it. The other side of it, though, is as far as those groups are concerned, they classify themselves as a religion.
Right.
And I know it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek thing, but the ACA is not classifying itself as a religion. But I understand for the purposes of what they're doing. And so it's kind of this odd back and forth. It makes me feel a little uncomfortable because I wouldn't do it. But at the same time, I'm absolutely supporting what they're doing because I think that what better way for people to have to stare at their own hypocrisy than when they see their own crap reflected back at them in that way.
Right.
And plus, it's so cathartic. You know, you just grab the popcorn and you watch them wheel in the Baphomet.
Oh my goodness!
It's great. So
Have you seen the Hail Satan documentary on Hulu yet? It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
I wanted to see it, but I haven't seen it yet.
I highly recommend it. It's really good. I don't know. I think I disagree with you a little bit there. I don't think there's anything inherently lesser about using the word religion, especially in a legal context, because right now we're basically playing by someone else's rules. And in order to be an opposition right now, like our long game is to eventually make it so that like all nonprofits get the same benefits that religions do and that churches do. But in the meantime, having that offensive.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's a.
I didn't know if it maybe was ethically disingenuous to try to say, because I'm not currently a member of the church or anything like that, but
so
they denied us offhandedly, and I was like, well, I don't know where to go from here, and everyone kind of lost interest.
I think that if you split those words, I would be in agreement because I don't think they're unethical. I would feel disingenuous if I said that I was jumping in on that bandwagon for the aforementioned reasons. But I don't think it's unethical. So, yeah, man.
Because a legal argument.
Yeah, and I mean, go for it, dude. Every single time I've reached out to them, they have been super nice, super cool. I've been emailing Anton LaVey and still waiting for a response. If you know Anton LaVey, tell him to answer his damn emails. Is there anything else you wanted to?
Yeah, I'd say try and get in touch with the Satanic Temple. They're probably your better bet in terms of atheistic Satanists.
Getting real action.
Yeah, and then also if FFRF helped in the past, they might be a possible avenue again if this is something you really want to do, because I know they do a lot of this kind of thing as well.
There's a lot of just flagrant issues that happen, like the sheriff asking for prayer requests on the official city Facebook page, and there's a lot of like it says.
Hold on. Right. I got corrected.
Yep.
I said Anton LaVey, didn't I?
You did.
I did. Lucian Graves. I think
okay.
I would need.
I thought you were making a joke. I was like, you're going to be waiting.
No, absolutely. I think I would need a seance or something. But that was dumb.
Someone get in touch with us so we can have a seance and
that was
summon
Lucian Greaves. See that, Lucian?
Okay.
It's been so long, I forgot your name. Help me. Reach out to me. We can work together. Okay, sorry.
Not a problem. I honestly thought you were just making a joke.
No, I fucked that up.
Okay.
Yep. It's better than the moon mistake, so I'm fine.
Fair enough. Yeah, that was basically it. I was just trying to get some feedback on if y'all thought that was a good avenue to fight this, because the city just does what they want, and
yeah.
I think it's probably a good tactic, because we know that they do that kind of thing. So I'd say go for it and call back and let us know what's going on.
Definitely.
All right. Fantastic.
All righty, man. It was good talking to you.
Y'all's feedback.
Oh, absolutely.
Thanks for calling.
Mm-hmm. So I'm seeing a lot of atheists. I'm not seeing a lot of theists.
Yeah, not too many of them.
No, we get the emails. We get the, how come you only bring on those theists that just seem not to be able to get their shit together? Because you didn't call. Put your money where your mouth is, especially those trolls in the comments. Now's your time. We will hold the line for you. That said, we are going to move over to another atheist caller. Let's see. How about, who do you think? One or two?
Let's take one.
All right. Patrick in Liverpool. You're live with Eric and V. How are you doing?
Hi. Great. Awesome. Thank you.
Good. What do you want to talk about today?
Well, the call screener tied me down on the first thing that came to my mind. Well, actually, I just called because you seem desperate for a few calls.
Well, so actually, as soon as we put the word out, the lines light up.
Yeah, exactly.
But that is...
I'm one of them who lit it up, that's all.
Appreciate that, Patrick.
Yeah, very sweet. So now we're in the process of cutting down, though. But we did see something in the notes that is interesting. What did you want to ask about?
Well, I'll stick to what the call screener tied me down to. I have a very easy way to debunk the whole nothing comes from nothing argument that apologists often use as, atheists don't know what they're talking about because reality cannot come from nothing. Even if they do not even consider that the deity is coming from nothing too, they never actually explain where that sucker comes from, but our universe can't come from nothing.
Yeah.
So it doesn't come from nothing. And no physicist ever said it comes from nothing. That's a big, I don't know, whoever came up with that story obviously was not a physicist. It doesn't come from nothing. It was all there. It was always all there. It was in one singularity. It's a singular point without any dimension, including space-time, which is a dimension. And the moment space-time was introduced into that singularity, the whole thing had to expand, well, rather quickly, as you can imagine, because there was a whole lot of shit on that very small little point, right? And that became the big universe, which consists of what estimated 400 billion little galaxies, So the whole idea of this nothing comes from nothing is not true. It doesn't come from nothing. It just didn't exist in a way we understand it in a space-time thing. It wasn't dimensional. There was... that's it.
The thing is I've come across that, and I've definitely thought about that, but it's not super convincing.
Easy to comprehend.
No, it's not super convincing when you're talking to a theist, because ultimately the question is, okay, how did that happen? And
here's what you can tell them: exactly the same way God made it all. It happened in exactly the same way. It just came into existence, like what kind of argument is
Patrick,
that? God can make it out of nothing.
But Patrick,
well, then,
while I agree that a God is not necessary for the instantiation of a universe, because we don't fucking know and they don't fucking know, so as long as we're postulating things, we can just throw it out there, apparently. I would say that to stay honest, you got to say I don't know, because you don't know. It's a tongue-in-cheek way of saying it's the same way your God made it, but
okay,
you don't.
We know where it comes from. What we do not know is how it happened. What we do not know is what triggered that moment, that incident that basically introduced space-time. That is what we don't know. We understand, however, what the singularity is. We understand what the Big Bang, by the way, a term that was coined by a religious scientist who tried to debunk that.
I get we've figured out a lot about T=1, but that's not the point of the way that argument comes up. And it's not the point that they're trying to make. It doesn't address the argument
that they are trying to make is what they are conflate. Look, it's the exact same problem that you have with DNA, being a code. No, it's not. It's a misunderstanding of semantics, which causes people to misunderstand the whole thing when scientists talk about the Big Bang or singularity. So
it's an appeal to mystery.
It does not compute semantically in the same way as theists would translate semantics.
And at that point, I wouldn't say theists. I would say the theist that you're talking to who's making that claim. Because not all theists are there, and meeting them where they're at is important. Yes. And if you're talking about a subset of people who do claim that belief, then that would be a good place to go down the road.
No, I was still in the confinement of people who would use this kind of argument. So,
for sure.
In my mind, I was talking about those specific theists. So.
Well, let's see if we can get one of them to call in, and maybe we can talk to them about it.
Good luck.
Patrick. Well, I mean, put your money where your mouth is. We're not that bad. We're the nice show.
No,
Patrick,
I like watching you. Good job, guys. Keep it up.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Right. And looking forward to the new logo and stuff.
Yeah,
it's cool. It's really cool. We've been working out. We've been workshopping
with the old stuff. Come on, do some giveaways with the old stuff.
Keep it with the old stuff.
Need a nice show. Giveaway,
give away old stuff.
Yeah, giveaway.
Ooh,
like a giveaway.
Maybe we should get a little like a box of what's left and just kind of. Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Well,
Patrick, I like
patrons,
that.
You have patrons, do a raffle among your patrons or something, or everyone who becomes a new patron until next week gets something out of the box or something like that. Come on, Bianca.
Sounds like a good idea. We'll take that to our producer. Yeah. But in the meantime, it was good talking to you, man.
Have a nice evening.
You
Bye,
too.
guys.
Oh, yeah, that's right. It's probably evening over there.
Yes.
6 hours.
Definitely.
Okay.
That was really sweet.
That was really nice.
Those atheists that called that wanted to make sure that we weren't vamping they heard that and they all went, oh, fuck, and they dropped off the line. So if you're a religious caller, call in.
We appreciate you guys, though.
Definitely. Let's move on. I really want to talk to Matt in North Dakota. Matt, you're live with Eric and V. How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Doing good.
Pretty well. Caffeine's kicking in. I am ready to go. What do you want to talk about?
Hey, well, I was just looking for some advice on, I'm in a pretty tough situation. So I was in a cult, and technically I'm still in a cult, but I'm trying to find a good way to leave, and just wondering what your guys' thoughts are. So I was in the Jehovah's Witness cult for my entire life, I guess I was born into it. And about 2.5 years ago, I woke up to that it was false, basically. It was just a false doctrine. And shortly thereafter, I became atheist.
Mm-hmm.
And when I talk to other people about this, it's a 50-50 response as to how I should handle it. So some people say, stay in because, and basically just make it look like you're quote unquote spiritually weak so that you don't lose all your family and friends. And half the people I talk to says, well, you need to be true to yourself as well. So just make a clean cut. And I guess I was wondering if you guys had any suggestions or if you had ever encountered anyone like that. What are your thoughts on that situation?
Yeah, that's rough.
It is, and
it sucks, man.
Yeah,
and it totally depends on your personal situation. There's not a right answer there.
Mm-hmm.
There are people I've talked to who are just unable to get community, and leaving that kind of insular system could be incredibly detrimental in their lives. And for those people who would truly suffer that way, I would say, hey, maybe start taking small steps, start making friends outside of that group, start, getting a foothold where it's not going to feel like you lost everything all at once. Because that really, really sucks. And for those people who do leave entirely, just cold turkey, there's a lot of loss. And especially with J-dubs, they take their shunning seriously. And it hurts. If you wanted to do that, well, there's a lot that comes with it. There's a lot of rediscovering things and things that maybe you think about yourself right now that in the absence of that culture maybe needs another look. And you might find that, that Matt that you're going to grow into be is somebody that you can grow to love and be happy about. And that can be a wonderful thing. But man,
it's
hurts.
tough because I have a family and I have 2 young children, and the witnesses are famous for weaponizing family against non-believers or people that leave that cult, and it's really tough now because my entire family is in this, so it's like nothing I can do or say to my kids right now anyway really influences them. It's basically everyone in the family is saying, well, I'm just spiritually weak, and your father hopefully comes to his senses. So that's one of the insidious things I think about the witnesses is that they weaponize family against each other, because if I were to just resign from the organization, they call it disassociate, it would be an immediate cutting off of family, and they would expect, they basically it's grounds for like marital separation, and because I'm a spiritual danger is what they would classify my family. So it's been a really tough road, and I live like 30 miles. I don't know. I live pretty close to where I grew up. My parents are part of this cult, and basically everyone except for my 2 siblings, ironically, are part of this cult. They escaped a while ago, but it's one of those things where mentally it's playing games with me. I've been having really, really weird dreams for like the last year and a half, and it's all based around this cult and leaving it and my fears of leaving it. But at the same time, I feel like the longer I stay in, the worse it'll get mentally for me.
Yeah.
So the best thing that I can think of is to provide you with resources, because it's going to be a process, and having people to talk to, especially people who are ex-Jehovah's Witnesses, really, really helps. I have a dear friend in Telltale. If you haven't checked out Telltale, please do. Also, I had John Cedars, Lloyd Evans, here on the show. Who's also fantastic. Their connections to ex-Jehovah's Witness communities is wonderful. And I mean, really, it's wild. When Lloyd came and sat in and did Talk Heathen, there was a massive audience. And every time somebody pulled out their phone, they were afraid because they were afraid someone was taking pictures to use again. And there's just this paranoia and this fear. And it's justified in this case. And it can be tough. And I would be absolutely dishonest if I said that I understood with any real degree of I can only imagine how rough that is. But they could help. They could probably help a whole lot more than we could.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's something that you just grow up and you take it for granted, and then it happens, and you're one of those that you're supposed to shun, and it's pretty crazy. It's one of those things where, it's hard to find the line of where you protect yourself mentally, because I feel like it's getting to the end of the rope versus, keeping those in your life that you value. Honestly, like my folks, my parents, and my in-laws, the love bombing almost makes you go nuts because everyone's being told that you're just spiritually weak. But you know that, no, I'm not spiritually weak. I just don't believe in any of this anymore. So I guess it's a fine line there. So
It is. And ultimately, I think you need to cut yourself some slack, whatever your decision is, because it's a tough one, and it's something that only you are going to understand the intricacies of, and it's okay, but you're not alone. And there are extra Hovis Witnesses in particular who've shared that experience, who I think would be very, very beneficial for you if you haven't reached out already. But if you haven't, please consider it. Have you reached out?
I've reached out to a couple. In fact, there's a couple in the local community that I live in that have left the organization, and we get along really good. They're in the same situation that I'm in, where they've just they call it fading from the religion. So you're not officially disassociated or disfellowshipped or shunned, but you've just kind of faded out. Mm-hmm. And they've been a great resource to me.
Good.
There's a lot. It's just my particular situation. It's really tough because, everyone in my family, including my wife and kids, they're staunch believers. And so it's like, and I keep getting the advice of, well, just be patient. But at the same time, I'm conflicted, right? Because I hate being in a relationship where you're trying to change the other person, because I don't want to do that. I don't think that's the right thing to do. And I know from their perspective, what's being preached to them is, well, just win them over with love. Get them to come back to the organization, with love. And so basically that system is built and conditioned to show love with the intent of getting the unbeliever back into the family. So I know what's happening, and the advice that my family is getting on me is, well, if you're just really nice to them, they'll come back to the organization. So it's just, it feels like I'm in between a rock and a hard spot. I feel like telling them, well, there's no way I'm ever coming back. I just want to be honest with you. And I feel like the only way I could do that without getting love bombed is just formally resigning. So it's kind of a conflicting situation.
Well, I would actually be incredibly interested if at some point in the future you wanted to call back and let us know how things went. Sure. I think that experience in particular is one that there needs to be more people speaking about, because I don't think it's represented enough for people to go, hey, that person had a similar experience to me, and when you can create that, I mean, even in this call, even if you decide, maybe I need to stay in it for X, Y, and Z reasons, hearing this can be comforting. It can help. And I wish you the best, man.
Also, if you want to check out, the Recovering from Religion has a hotline for people who are deconverting or in the process of deconversion. and they have volunteers who can call and talk to, and that's 184 I doubt it. If you call that number, you will be able to talk to some people who have had experience talking to other people and probably personal experience as well.
Definitely.
That sounds great. Well, I appreciate you guys taking my call, and thank you for everything that you guys do. It is very much appreciated, and it does a lot of good, whether you know it or not.
Well,
it's far-reaching too. So,
thank you, man.
Thank you.
That's really nice. Take care.
Yeah, you.
Oh, that was a cut, but that's okay. So I want to shoot through a couple of these and make sure we have lines freed up for theist callers. So let's shoot through to Noah in Mesa, Arizona. Hey, Noah.
Yeah, hey. How you doing?
We're doing all right. What did you want to ask about?
All right. Basically, I'm a former Mormon. I got a whole backstory. You don't need to really hear, but
that's okay.
It's a recent thing.
Oh, okay.
And it basically, this has to do with everybody in the church. You know, they've kind of calmed down about bugging me about the church and sending me stuff, but now they're hardcore coming over, knocking on my door, giving me Trump stickers and T-shirts and stuff, trying to get me
really?
Because when I was in the church, I was very much a part of the social structure of it, where I really brought people together and organized things, and so they're really pushing me for, well, you don't have to be religious, but
put those skills to work for us.
Right, which is interesting because it shows what they really care about, which is the social impact that their religion has. Yeah,
I actually didn't know that. So I remember when Prop 8 came through, the Mormon Church really, mobilized to push for making same-sex marriage illegal in California a couple of years back. I didn't know that they were mobilizing so much on this one, but that's something interesting to keep an eye out for. I'm going to want to do some research and see just how much propping up of that there is. There's probably a ton, and I just didn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, my political views have shifted, but that started back with. I mean, I was a huge John McCain fan, but when he picked Sarah Palin, I was like, oh my goodness. And it was just like, are you serious? This person doesn't know what she's talking about. No. And so it kind of was shifting back then, and now it's like, my goodness, I don't know what to do with a lot of these people. They're just sitting there talking about it, just putting it in my face, telling me, or straight up asking my opinions. And you know how it goes when you're talking to people about politics. I mean, they're just going nuts right now. So my question is, I don't know how to deal with that. How do I,
So here's...
I don't know. I haven't been associated with them.
Yeah, no, here's the thing. Setting boundaries. It can be really tough, but it really does help in the end. When it comes to that, I have a similar thing that pops into my head, where somebody I was talking to them, and I don't, maybe it was on this show, I don't know, but they said that at work, people were constantly trying to get him to go to church because there's tons of people in the office all went to the same church, and so they kept bugging him about his walk with Christ, just assuming his Christianity and wanting to continue to push that and push that and push that. And he had a great answer. He said, would you ask me how I have sex with my wife? And the person was just horrified, and he said, well, it's personal to me. My religious views are personal to me. In the same way, I would appreciate it if you let me have that. Please don't ask me anymore. That's personal. And the boss just shut the hell up. and that was it, to say, hey, you know what? This is a no-go zone. I'm not interested in talking to you. Mm-hmm. And even with people that you know and care about, you can say, hey, I want to spend time with you, mom, dad, aunt, uncle. I love you. I don't want to talk about X, Y, and Z because it causes arguments between us, and I want to enjoy this time with you. So please respect that. And if you can't respect that,
Right.
then what you're showing is that you don't want to spend time with me. Because you are valuable, Noah. You do have worth. And people should be able to understand that at least. And if they don't, fuck them. Close the door on them. Because they don't need, and you don't owe them your time and your life. You don't.
Well, I remember, I'm old enough to remember what it used to be like, politics and stuff, and how I used to view the presidency was like a hood ornament on a car. You know, like a really nice car, and that's the hood ornament.
Yeah.
And now it's like I can see how much damage it does because I see all these people that I used to know, or that I do know, not used to know. I mean, these are people I've spent years with doing things, and they're just acting crazy right now. They're just acting, and they're saying stuff that's just so untrue.
But viewed from the outside, it definitely can feel that way. But I think we're starting to go far afield. So I'm going to let you go. But was there anything else you wanted to add in?
No, unless you just want to put a gigantic vote for whoever is the opposition on your door. See if they bother.
Yeah.
Like show up in a T-shirt, drinking from a mug, just like...
Not in my neighborhood.
Deck that up. Oh, that's fair.
There's
fair
way
point.
too many Trump flags in my neighborhood to get away with that because they're just crazy right now.
Yeah.
So anyways, I appreciate you guys. Have a wonderful day.
Absolutely. You too. Bye.
Ooh, what if it was the opposite? What if you just put a Trump sign on your door and they wouldn't feel like they had to come visit you?
Yeah, but if they think that he's a really good community organizer, they might be like, we got him.
I'm so busy with all the other communities I'm organizing.
Yeah, maybe. Let's go on to James in Hawaii. James, you're talking to Eric and V. How you doing?
Hi, good morning. I'm doing wonderful. Thank you for taking my call.
Absolutely. What did you want to talk about?
Unfortunately, I'm one of those non-theists that you guys are griping about, but I can pretend to be a theist if you want.
Nope. That would be incredibly dishonest. Nope.
How come snakes don't learn to talk no more, huh, scientist?
But
okay.
What did you want to ask about?
My question.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to ask, since you guys get a plethora of all of these theists, these people who come and they insult you, they throw all this vitriol at you, and I want to know, first of all, you guys are wonderful people, but how do you have the patience to deal with it? It must be taxing on you to be insulted by strangers every Sunday.
So, you know what I've found is over time you cultivate a community, and the community that we've been able to cultivate is not that insulting.
Yeah, we've actually, we do have those calls on occasion, and there are definitely angry ones. But I think that Talk Heathen especially doesn't necessarily go the nasty vitriol route as much.
Yeah.
You don't get as much crazies as Matt Dillahunty.
No, there's a different AXP crowd that knows that they're going to get a different kind of response. So here we just go, oh, let's listen to you, and if you're not listening back, we're just going to hang up on you.
Have you seen the movie Coco?
Well, I, for one, appreciate the work that you guys do. A few weeks ago, you guys took a call from a very close friend of mine, and the way y'all handled his question, because he was very curious, he's struggling, and at some point, I wanted to call and thank you deeply from the bottom of my heart for how respectful you are, giving good atheist, a respectful name.
Cheers to that.
Awesome.
Love that. I just wanted to ask you, have you seen the movie Coco?
I have not.
Okay, well, that's fine because there are probably people who are watching
I've seen a Korean film called Coco, but I don't think that's what you're talking about.
Nope, probably not. No, it's an animated film, and there's this, spoilers, if you don't want to hear about what happens at the end of Coco, speed up about 2 minutes. At the end...
James, do you mind if we spoil Coco for you?
James doesn't have a choice. So here's the deal. At the end, you have the villain who is just doing something incredibly dishonest, and the way that they...
life's over.
The way that...
I'm kidding. No, please, keep going.
The way that they solve it is they put on a camera and they let that person hang themselves in front of everyone. They let that person show their true colors. And when you have somebody call in who's vitriolic, who's hateful, that is not necessarily representative of all religious people. But what it is representative of is bigotry and intolerance. And when you put that on display, there's nothing we have to do because it shows. And when people call in and they have a bad argument or something like that, we don't need to convince them necessarily because the backfire effect is totally a thing. But when people call in, others here are watching. And maybe their guard is down just a little bit. Maybe they're not worried about or feeling like they're being attacked, but they can go, hey, I can see this conversation in a way that isn't, creating tension with my family. And maybe, hey, I can see kind of how this fleshes out a little bit. And that's really the big benefit of that is, yeah, somebody can call really angry and upset and all of that, but right now, there are almost 2,000 people watching this live.
Wow. Greetings from Hawaii, 2,000 people.
And there are more people who are going to watch this after the fact. And if those people can see and can go, hey, you know what? That's just like my church elder. Oh my gosh, that's exactly what I had to deal with. You know, it's this bonding moment. It's this time when we can sit together and go, holy crap, you had that experience too? It's wonderful.
When they have that mirroring effect, like when they see how someone's acting and they go, wait, is this what I look like?
Yes.
Shit.
Yep.
And even if it doesn't take them all the way out, but it causes someone to give pause and maybe be a little bit more empathetic, maybe be a little bit more charitable in the way that they listen, then we have fucking done our job.
Well, crap.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never really heard of anyone who's like, oh my God, that person reflective made me look like an asshole. Oh my God, I must be the asshole for worshiping a guy who drowns his own kids.
But here's the thing, dude. Like we've had callers who've called in afterwards, the second time and been like, oh my gosh, I was an asshole. Like, it's happened. It's happened and it's wonderful.
And
so
I think that's the point of it too. I mean, yeah, you get a lot of people who suffer from the Dunning-Kruger effect, but it must feel amazing when you get that one guy who called back and said, hey, you know what? You opened my eyes, you planted the seeds, and come back and thank you. So if we're just saying, if it's all reaching out to that one person, you guys are the real heroes.
Aww.
Not all heroes wear capes.
Yeah, love you too. You give me the warm fuzzies. All right, James. Take care.
Also, I definitely do wear a cape, just not on the show.
Can confirm.
But you know what? It's the most wonderful of capes, and our eyes are not good enough to see it. I understand.
Sweet baby Jesus. All right, James. Bye. We'll talk to you later.
You guys have a good day.
You too. Okay. I love that we've got a lot of atheist callers calling in, but I want some more religious callers. So 512-686-0279. Anybody in particular?
Billy has an interesting question.
Ooh, does Billy? Oh, no. Billy, you're live with Eric and V.
I tricked you.
You did.
I did.
Why? Billy?
Hey, how are you?
Hey, good. We're going to get obscure. It's my jammy jams. I love it. But people are going to be like, oh, no.
Eric, how could you spoil Coco like that? I was not looking forward to seeing that movie.
It's still a wonderful movie. It made me cry several times, and I would watch it over and over again.
Yeah, I've watched it at least 3 times.
Yeah.
So you're still good.
Yeah. All right, what's up? What do you want to talk about?
My question is, I'm just looking for a good, solid definition of hard solipsism. I don't want to get too much into the details because I know you guys are short on time. But what's a good main definition of hard solipsism?
Okay, so hard solipsism as a concept is the idea that you cannot be sure that anything exists except for your own consciousness. So you think, therefore you are, and that's it. So you exist and nothing else can be proven, and therefore, I'm not sure. Does it, Eric, does it imply that therefore the rest of the world does not exist? Or is it just that you can't be sure?
Well, you can't be sure, and people have kind of extrapolated and kind of taken that and seen where that went. So, everything could be just a construct within your mind.
Brain in a vat.
Exactly. You could be a brain in a vat. You could be plugged into the matrix, and everything you feel, see, smell, touch, all of those things are electrical impulses. So how can you trust your sense perception if that's all that you have? How do you know that the reality you're experiencing correlates and is applicable, is actually true? So that's kind of the hard solipsism bit.
Yeah,
in a nutshell.
watch The Matrix, and that's the concept.
I did, unfortunately.
Hey, the first one was great,
The first one was good.
and the Animatrix was awesome.
Yeah, first one is good. 2 and 3, I don't know.
Fair.
But
Does that answer your question? Is that what you thought it was?
Yeah, to a degree. Maybe I'll call in like maybe next week and give you guys a little background as to what I'm talking about.
so long as you can answer it as long as you can pose it in a question that we can engage with, that's fun for people to watch. Yes. If not, take it online, hop on the Reddit, because when you're talking back and forth and having that kind of conversation, our Discord is a great place to go. Do you want to hop V, do you want to hop on the Discord after we do this show so we can talk to some
Yeah,
some
that
people?
sounds like fun. Let's do that.
All right. Hey, people in the back, if we could throw up the Discord at some point, I'll make sure that I say that, and maybe we can talk to people off air as soon as we finish.
Sounds good to me.
I like it. Billy, thank you for calling in, man.
Or anytime. By the way, Talk Heathen, best show out of the ACA.
Nice.
Yes!
I agree.
I love that. All right. Thank you, man. Take care.
I've actually got a pretty good... I'm in enough of the shows that I've got a pretty good... I can. God, I'm completely losing.
That's
my train of
okay.
thought.
No worries. I can pick up, and as soon as you grab it, you can jump in.
Sounds good. You do your thing.
So here's the funny thing is people are saying, he just said, oh, hey, it's a great show, and yada, yada. And we're sitting at 6,400 subscribers, which is amazing. Our big sister show is over 250,000 subscribers. You see, what we did here at the ACA is we have a place just outside of this door to this studio. And there's a silver play button, and it says for the atheist experience. Now, it's a little low on the wall, and there's a blank spot above the atheist experience silver play button, and I've just been holding that for Talk Heathen. So if you've been holding off on subscribing, please do, because I will just, I'd gloat. Honestly, I'd call Matt and I'd just be like, hey, Matt.
You burst into an AXP show with the silver play button.
Oh, totally.
And just be like.
And then Matt would take the high road and he'd say, congratulations, you earned it. And then I'd just huff a little bit. Yep.
I like it.
All right. Let's move on. Let's go with David in Arkansas. David, you're live with Eric and V. How are you doing?
Hi, doing well. How about you?
Doing all right, man. We've been patting ourselves on the back a good bit.
I apologize.
That's all good. What do you want to talk about?
I called a couple weeks ago, or maybe last week, about transitioning and talked to you, both of y'all. I was wondering how you know when you've fully transitioned.
Transitioned
from
in which
theism into atheism.
Okay. Yeah, exactly.
Got it.
David?
Yep.
It sounds like you know.
I mean, well, my problem is I still, and it's going to sound, I don't want to use the word stupid, but I've experienced things that I still kind of, I'm like, I can't think of another answer. I know that's the several fallacies fit that, but I still know what I saw and know what I've experienced.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I know there's another answer, but, and I know that in my mind, it's not necessarily a natural answer, at least for what we know now. Now, certainly when we find the science, there will be an answer and all that, but until then, how do I kind of just brush off what I've experienced?
Well, you don't have to.
Yeah.
Just if you don't know what it is and the honest answer is I don't know, then you're sitting pretty. The fact is, there are tons of atheists who are not skeptics, who still hold that there's some kind of power in the universe and still hold that there's some kind of, woo type of spirituality, or that they can contact spirits on the other side, that they could believe in crystals, chakras, and be, that there's an entire group, and those people also consider themselves to be atheists. The interesting thing is, you don't have to be exactly where we're at to have the answer to a single question. And honestly, I think that hitting the answer to that question is not as important as brushing up on your epistemology and making sure that you are using the best tools available to understand the world around you. Because I think that you doing that probably will get you to atheism, but if not, call in and let us know. But it'll help you in other parts of your life too. You can hold on to a whole lot of that stuff and have run right through the atheist, into the atheist camp. If you don't like the word, you don't have to use the word. But
right. One thing I will say, I'm very quickly getting rid of quote unquote faith, and I wanted to recommend on CNN and probably other networks. They ran an article last week on the 20th. This woman drove her car into oncoming traffic because she thought God was testing her faith. And I was mortified.
Yeah.
Fuck.
That's brutal, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I emailed the atheist community and shared that with y'all. I don't know if anybody read it or not, but it's an interesting article on CNN, and faith is it scares me now that I've gotten rid of that part, because I see how dangerous it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, it can, if you value standing behind something, even if you don't have any good reason to. Yeah, it is incredibly insulating, and it is incredibly dangerous. Yeah. David, whether or not you want to call yourself an atheist, the fact is you getting there already makes me really damn happy that you watched the show. And really proud that how
I did it. I've been watching y'all for a couple of years, and you've been great to me and very patient. The very first time I called in, I actually called in angry with y'all because y'all were ripping up Bibles.
Actually, what's funny is I was going through the supplies that we have for the different shows, and someone kept the ripped up Bible, and I just found it in the box this morning. I don't know what to do with it, but it fired you up, but it got you thinking, didn't it?
Hey, could you send it to me?
Hey.
Yeah, I don't mind. Sure.
I'd love to have it.
Yeah, man. How about I pop you back on hold to talk to our call screener?
Sounds great.
All right, brother. Thank you for calling in. And
thank you.
Keep exploring. Keep thinking about it. Nobody's holding a gun to your head. Just do your best to understand this world the best way, as clearly as you can. Question everything and try to hold, especially the things that are important to you, up to a high standard, because they should be. You should have high standards for those things that you accept and that you support. And that's okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you.
I know.
That's really cool. I really would love it if we sent him that Bible. That would be amazing.
Yeah, well, I think it would be meaningful for him, for sure.
Yeah, I know that would be...
kicked him off on the...
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes.
Okay, let's do that.
Also, I think it's interesting that there's the idea out there that if you are an atheist, you can't not know things or have experiences that you can't explain, or think that you may have had an experience that is... what other people would consider mystical or spiritual or whatever. Like these are things that humans experience. And it's not reserved for religious people. It's not reserved for people who are faithful and worship a God. These are things that we all experience. And it's just the only thing we do differently is say, I don't know what caused that, as opposed to say, it was God. So you can have these experiences. You can even go search for them if you so desire. But the goal here is just to make sure that we aren't leaping to unfounded conclusions with those experiences as our only evidence.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm going to grab that book off the counter at some point during the show. That's really neat. You know, actually, when I went to do my debate in Nashville, I got a call from the event organizer who said, hey, Eric, somebody sent me a video of you tearing up a Bible. We really don't want to be, you know, too mean. And I thought, if I'm the mean one. But hey, you know what? If it gets people thinking, then I'm pretty happy about it.
Eric is too mean, you guys.
Let's, you know what? Actually, let's thank some patrons really quick.
Ooh, good.
Right? Yeah, it's about 2/3 of the way through the episode, and I just wanted to say thank you. If you support us, and you don't just have to monetarily, and you don't have to do anything, but the fact that you're watching, the fact that you're sharing this out is wonderful. The fact that you subscribed means we're a little bit closer to that silver play button, which I would really like. But if you can and you want to support what we do, you can go to patreon.com/talkheathen-to-me and be possibly one of our top 5 patrons. And today's top 5 patrons are Charlotte Crum, Desert Heathen, Bethany P., Cully, in Ribbow. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
It really, really does help. And you know what's funny is people think, oh, well, it must be a whole bunch of money. You know, for the most part, at least half of the names that I list out are patrons at the $25 level.
Yeah.
Because it's most common for people to say, hey, I can kick in $1. And that's what's able to support us and keep us afloat is everybody just going, hey, you know what? I can give a tiny little bit. That's all right. It does count. It adds up.
Yeah.
That's how we're able to do it. And if you can't, you know, continue to support at your dollar level, it doesn't mean that we have to close down the building because everybody is helping it keep us afloat. That's one of the beautiful things about this show and what we're doing is it really is a community. And I absolutely love it. To our top 5 patrons, I want to say thank you. To all of our patrons, I want to say thank you.
You guys are the reason that people like David can come out of this and realize that there's more to life. That's you guys. Like, we're the ones talking, but we can only do that if you guys support us. So that's your triumph as well.
Cheers to that. All right. You ready?
Yes.
There's someone who is going by King Kong, calling from Namibia. King Kong, you're live with Eric and V. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Hello, doing well. What do you want to talk about today?
No, I made a claim. I said atheists are their own little gods.
Okay, how do you define God?
God is someone who has supernatural powers.
I didn't understand what could you say that again? It didn't come in clear.
Someone who has supernatural powers.
So you think the atheists have supernatural powers?
V?
They think their reason is supernatural.
V, have you been holding out on me?
They think their reason is above nature.
Above nature. How are we above nature?
No, I said your reason. You think your reason is above nature.
How do you know? How do you, King Kong, if that is your real name? How did you?
No, it's not my real name.
Yeah. How did you come to?
It's part of my surname.
Sure. How did you come to think that that's how we think? That's a really big assumption on your part, isn't it? You're talking to 2 atheists. Why don't you just ask us?
Yes, I know.
Why don't you ask us? It sounds like
you're show, and I'm a big fan of your show.
Well, cheers. Why are you making the assumption? Why don't you just ask us? All atheists think that they're their own little gods. That's kind of condescending, isn't it?
After careful study.
After careful study, you think that atheists, please tell me if I'm wrong, you think that atheists hold themselves as supernatural beings above nature. Is that right?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's my claim.
So I can't speak for other people. I can speak for myself. What about me made you think that?
Yes. Not really you. I'm not really familiar with you. I only watched like maybe 2 or 3 episodes.
Yeah, but I mean, for you to make that statement, you have to have at least enough evidence to show that. What about me makes me think that? Because
you deny the
oh, sorry, go ahead.
knowledge.
Because I deny what?
Because you deny true knowledge.
Because I deny true knowledge. Well, what is true knowledge?
Which can only come from Yahuwah.
Oh, true knowledge
True
can
knowledge
only come
only
from
comes-
Jehovah. Okay, so you mean if I go to a university and I get a math degree, I'm still denying true knowledge? Can I know things about math?
You can only know things in that area.
In that area.
Well, isn't that true for everything?
You have to study it first, and then you know
Yeah.
whether or not you know it.
I mean, you should probably study to become an architect, right? I wouldn't want to go into a building not designed by one. You should probably know about chemistry before you start, doing, creating things in labs. You should probably know about medicine and have a good amount of experience in medicine before you say that you're a doctor. What area are you talking about? Because it seems like that area is vanishingly small. King Kong?
Excuse me. Sorry, what? Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah,
the connection is a bit
no,
because I'm on the other side of the Atlantic.
Understood. So I'll say it again.
Yeah.
What is true knowledge? Because you saying, oh, you can have knowledge about certain areas. Well, duh. Yes, you can study and you can learn things. What can you learn without ever studying?
I don't know what is knowledge.
What is knowledge? That's a good question. King Kong, what do you think knowledge is?
It's a good question.
What do you think knowledge is?
The fear of Elohim.
The what?
The fear of Elohim.
The fear of Elohim is knowledge. Okay. Is there anywhere that you can use the word knowledge when you have that definition? Because it seems like knowledge is going to become a vanishingly hard to use word in conversation.
No, it won't actually be that hard to use.
What?
Because we start with God. Can I just explain a bit?
Well, you start with God, sure. Why do you start with God?
Because we believe you cannot know anything without.
Okay, so that's
Elohim.
Right. So you can't know anything without it because you need it because you can't know anything without it. You defined yourself into a circle there. That doesn't make sense. Let me give you an example of another circle. I'm God because my book says I'm God. I wrote a book that says I'm God. And now I can point at it and say I'm God because my book that I wrote says it. Right? That's nice and circular. It doesn't make it you haven't actually justified it. Go ahead.
Yeah, circularity is not the problem.
Circularity is not a problem?
Yeah, it's not a problem for us.
Okay, so my example, is there any problem with that?
What was your example again?
Right, my example was I have a book.
Mm-hmm.
Right here, Book of Eric. It says that I'm God. I know it because it says so in the book. I wrote the book. So is that justifiable to believe?
For you, it is.
No, I'm asking you if it's justifiable. For me, I don't give a crap if it's justifiable for me. It should be justifiable for everyone or not. We should have good reasons to believe things. Don't you agree? Do you think we should have good reasons to believe things?
Yeah, I will think you have a reason to believe that you think you are God.
Okay, and what's the reason that I think I'm God?
Because you don't accept the God that is revealed himself in nature, who is revealed himself in history.
It sounds like you weren't listening, King Kong.
You are God.
It sounds like you weren't listening. I didn't say that. I said it's because it's in the book. Where did you get that? Did I say it? Did I say it on an earlier episode? At what point do you get that?
No, I'm just going by your example that you made.
No, then you would have repeated my example back to me. Should I make it again? I can make it again. right? I wrote in the book that I'm God.
No.
The book says that I'm God.
No, I'm not.
QED.
I'm not really interested in these hypothetical scenarios.
I'm not interested in you talking at me. I'd rather us find something that we can agree on and talk about it together. But if you're just going to say I'm not interested in talking to you, I just want to tell you what I think that you think. Why the hell would I give you time on my show? So talk to me, talk with me, engage with me. Maybe we can learn something together, King Kong. And let's start by saying, don't ever make assumptions about somebody without asking them. Because it's human decency. Wouldn't it be kind? Wouldn't it be a better world if we didn't do that to each other?
Yes, your worship. It will be a better world.
Oh, good. You didn't listen again, did you? King Kong, can you answer a single thing that comes out of my mouth, please? If we didn't assume things about each other, and we asked them and gave them the opportunity to tell you what they think instead of just writing them off because you made an assumption, wouldn't it be a better world?
Yes, I said
I agree it would be a better world if we didn't make assumptions. So, why are you making that assumption? You can apologize. That would be wonderful. That would be incredibly honest. That would be incredibly kind and fantastic. If you said, you know what, Eric, I'm sorry that I made that assumption about you. How about I ask you first? Yeah. Would you do that?
Eric, we all have to make assumptions.
Oh, so you're justifying. Are you justifying having made an assumption about me like that and writing me off? Do you think that's okay?
No, you're taking it too personal.
No, I'm talking King Kong. We can talk about ideas. Ideas don't necessarily deserve respect. And I absolutely get that. Mm-hmm. But what you did is you made an assumption about me. You said, all of you atheists think this. No. Because I can't understand a thing unless I'm already making that assumption about you. That is presumptive to the point of completely, I mean, dude, why shouldn't I write you off back? Oh, because I'm being a better person. Because I'm actually asking you what you think. Can you please give me the same kindness?
Yes, your worship.
Okay, no. Fuck off. You're done. Hi, V.
Hi, you back?
Ooh, you want to pick the next caller?
Sure.
Cool.
Let's go with Mark in London.
All right. Mark in London. You're talking to Eric and V. How are you doing?
Hi there, guys. How you doing?
Doing okay. I'm fine. I don't know about Eric.
You know, people say, oh, Eric, you are infinitely patient. Was that patient? That wasn't patient. What did you want to talk?
But it's frustrating and understandable, I'd say.
You know, I hope that person goes back and listens to themselves and feels ashamed. Because that's ultimately what we're hoping, is that people can listen and go, hey, you know what? That's kind of a fucked up thing to do. Mark, what did you want to talk about?
Well, first of all, in terms of frustration, I've just come off watching the YouTube debate, Kent Hovind versus someone, so I'm irritated as well.
Okay, I understand that.
I would love to debate Kent Hovind. That would be fun. Did you want to talk about Kent Hovind?
No. What I wanted to say was I spoke to Matt and David a couple of months ago. I lost my mother quite suddenly. I'm in my mid-40s now. And I found that very difficult, how quick it happened. Obviously, I'm a non-believer. Mm-hmm. And I've got a daughter who's 5 years old. She's lost 2 grandparents already. And I think I was talking to your call screener about... We don't seem to be equipped to give a good alternative. It's very easy to default, oh, we'll be fine, there's this. I've got some atheist friends who've got children similar age, and they would just, oh, Nanny or Granddad's in heaven, and don't worry, even though they don't believe it, it's just an easy way out. Mm-hmm. And I've not been able to do that, so it's very difficult to know how to reply. we don't seem to have a good alternative, although what you guys are doing is fantastic and it's important, needs to be done as well. But we need to be giving a good argument based in reason and reality, and it's quite hard to obviously comfort a 5-year-old. I've struggled as a 40-year-old to lose a parent, so it's knowing what to say is essentially my question, I guess.
Well, so I don't have any kids. And I've talked to plenty of atheist parents who do. And I've also worked in schools for many years. And kids have this funny way of looking to the adults around to find out how upset they should be, for the most part. I fell off the swings. I'm going to immediately get up and look at my parent and, should I be upset? And if mom goes, my poor baby, the waterworks are going.
Sure.
But if you say, oh, yeah, that's a thing. Oh, okay, I probably shouldn't be upset about this. Get up, dust themselves off, hop back on the playground. What's interesting is that can go a lot further than most people realize. I have experience of other things that are closer to home that are really big deals that I've seen. I've seen, hey, you know what? We're going to raise our child this way, even though maybe they have stuff working against them. Maybe they have a disability. And when that child in elementary school said, hey, is there something different about me? Oh, yeah, you got this. Oh, okay. It doesn't need to be that. What's interesting is a lot of that pain comes from undoing the damage of having to mourn the loss of everyone you ever loved again.
Yeah.
But to say, hey, yeah.
What do you mean again?
Well, I thought that I was going to get to see the people I loved again when I died.
Right. See, I don't have that. I've never had that. My 5-year-old has no perception of that. So it's where they've gone. And I've kind of even said they're nowhere. And I can see to a child that age, it's terrifying. And I struggled recently, like I said, having lost my mum with
I'm sorry to hear
the
that.
oblivion thing. And it really hit me out of the blue because I've lost grandparents and that's what happens. And I've kind of seen it sort of this way off kind of thing. And it's the fact that it's been so immediate, it's kind of caught me off guard. I can't really explain it. And until some of my friends have lost parents, I didn't really understand it at all until I've been through it. But I can't obviously reason with a 5-year-old and to say stuff like, well, they're nowhere, they're gone, they don't exist, is, from what I can see, is the truth until proven otherwise, is difficult. And I can't bear to lie, do the, oh, they're in heaven, don't worry thing. It's, and she's sort of come back with me, so being scared of, what if you go, Daddy? What if Mummy goes? And
absolutely,
there's no one here, and you're gone, and it's very difficult. I don't dwell on it. I don't sort of bring it up to her, and I give something that's honest, but then keep it as easygoing as I can and change the subject. But it's as a community, we're not giving the alternative, the arguments to talk people out of theistic things are sound and valid, sound epistemology and reason and evidence, that's all good. But I think for me that we inherently need something, I think, and it hasn't caught me until recently, like I said, from losing a parent, but then suddenly I'm like, what do I do? Where do I go? This is terrifying. My mum crying about, oh my God, I'm going to die right in front of me. And it's, she's an atheist. I'm an atheist. There's no good kind of comfort, I think, inherently.
So, if I might, There's an Elephant and Pig book called "We're in a Book." If you can get it, get it. It's a really good book. Just two cartoon characters, and they realize, oh my gosh, we're in a book, and one of them is just like, but the book is going to end. How can I enjoy any of this? The book is going to end, and then what? And then there will be no more book. And the other character is just like, well, we've got these pages though. Let's throw a party. Let's enjoy each other. You know, I think that might be a good way to kind of lead into that. As far as resources for you as a parent, I know Dale McGowan wrote a book called Parenting Beyond Belief, which is fantastic. That can help. But ultimately, you know, death is, it's the not living anymore that's the scary part. You know?
Yeah, obviously you're not aware of it after. It's the trepidation leading up to that, and it's a sense of, for me, it's been wasting my life worrying about it. And talking to Matt a couple of months ago, and David sparked me up, because I was in a really bad place then, and I quite inarticulate to them. But listening to David again, and I've caught him several times, I think, on your show as well, sparked me off thinking about it in a different way, and me exploring it has helped. But obviously I can't articulate that to a 5-year-old.
No, but what you can do is you can empathize. You know, it's okay to cry, and it's okay to mourn and grieve. And if she says, why are you crying? You could say, I miss your grandma. We can miss people together. Why do we miss them? Because we still love them. And we can talk about, well, what are we doing? Let's enjoy our time together. You know, I think it is an incredibly potent time to reinforce that love and the time that you have. Because, I mean, it to me, at least, it appears like that's one of the few things that we can focus on. Because, you know, you don't get a second shot.
And I think for a child, it quite will fleetingly change to something else, but then sort of comes back to that randomly. Oh, wow, that's caught me off guard. But it is difficult. And I think showing grief and love is an important thing. It's something I regret because I didn't do, because I just took myself away, because I didn't want to show that vulnerability and me kind of losing the plot a bit. So my wife kind of dealt with my child, and Daddy's gone to do this and this, but Daddy's in the back of the garden headbutting the fence or something, you know. And so I sort of hid that away, and retrospectively, I didn't really show that the grief's okay, and I should have done, but I've learned from that. And you're right to say that.
And you know what?
If I'd have talked to you like 18 months ago, I think, wow, yes. Sorry, yeah.
So I'm sorry to say that you'll have other opportunities. It's a part of this human condition that we love, and we lose those people that we love, and that's a part of it, but we're the better for having had it.
Mm-hmm. Something you might want to try, and this is something one of my friends who's a parent did, when they had to talk about it, they would talk about a day that they went to an amusement park or had a very good time. And they would say, do you remember the time that you had at this amusement park? And the kid would say, yeah. And are you there now? Is it still that day? No, it's in the past. It happened in the past, but you still remember it, and you still had fun, and it was a good day, and it influenced what you think of. When you think of good days, you think of those memories. So, I don't know. That's. I
think it's fantastic. You've said that. In fact, I've learned from my child in many ways. Maybe a stereotypical British thing is like, don't show emotion, and sort of bring stuff up in this regard. And it's predominantly out of all my family, my mum's brother. None of us bring it up other than my 5-year-old. We all kind of skirt around the issue, don't want to talk about it. I think we're all a bit freaked out, but it's inherently my 5-year-old who will say, oh, Nanny, love this cake, or knitted this, and then, wow, all the baggage I think we as adults have accumulated. And my family are basically all atheists, and we don't sort of say anything heavenly wise to her. So we don't know what to say really, and she's the one without those hang-ups who brings it up, and we will respond. We don't ignore her or anything, and I'm kind of glad she does, because it gives me a chance to say, I think, wow, my 5-year-old is helping me out here.
Yeah, dealing with it better than I am. You know, it's funny. It's a depressing topic, but it's because we hide it away.
Yes,
and you have the opportunity to make it less scary.
And inherently, as a society, I mean, we don't.
No.
I mean, you've got the religion thing. We don't equip. I mean, it's not like. I mean, most of the schools, the primary schools in England, UK, Church of England, so there's inherently a vicar going in preaching. You guys have got separation church and state. We don't have that. And it's even written in UK law that there will be a preaching element to schools, and that will be of Christian nature. And I've taken my child out of that, and thanks, actually, I'm digressing a bit, but the Humanist Society won a court case that my child, for example, I take her out of vicar assemblies in a non-CV school, bizarrely, and you just get bumped with colouring in and all this kind of stuff, whereas the rest of them have vicar-led assemblies, and the Humanist Society won a case in court in a different school. You can't do that. They need to have something equal educational value. So I sent this to my head teacher, and he's now gone, right, we'll do that. Humanist Society, we're going to give...
That's amazing.
Yeah, can we just export those people? Just a seed, a little bit over here.
That's fantastic.
You know,
separation of church and state already. Well, I mean, we have big House of Lords who.
I mean, Mark, I hate to make you the representative of the UK right now, but a couple hundred years ago, you sent some pretty religious radicals over here, and the idea stuck. You might owe it to us just a little bit. Send some rationality here, some compassion.
And maybe here by osmosis, absorb this and give out to you guys what we do here. But I'm envious in a way. I know religion is more inherently everywhere in the USA, but in the UK it's different. I think Christopher Hitchens said, I think it's better here because the state funds religion and the church. Therefore, and we do, but therefore they don't go out drumming up business. They sit quietly with their money in the background, and there's something like 50% of the UK don't believe any of it. They're not pushing, and they don't have to. I think that might be the answer. You need to fund your churches.
Right? And people can rebel against it. Yeah. You know, what's interesting is there are people who think that once you get away from religion, oh, well, things are solved. Last I checked, there are still problems over there, too. This is just one less, you know? So, but I think we're going to move on to the next call. There's one other thing I got a note from.
Thank you so much for your time.
Absolutely. There's another note that I got from someone in the back who said that a good exercise with a child asking this question, in a sandbox, draw a flower in the sand and then brush your hand through the sand to smooth it back and ask, where did the flower go?
Yeah, maybe. Analogy, I'm not sure. I'll think about it. Thank you so much for your time, guys. Carry
Absolutely.
on.
Thank you.
Best.
Thank you.
Colin.
Take care.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was heavy.
Yeah. I remember John, though. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to move on to the next caller, but my goodness. So I'm taking a look in the live chat, and there's a lot of talk going on, and so I just want to put this out there so that it is out there, and we can go, okay, we recognize this, but this is a show we're still trying to put on. Apparently, Kobe Bryant died.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. That might actually be a way to talk about death that's not so personal.
Yeah.
To say, hey, was this person valuable? Did they lose the value that we gave them because they passed? Sorry to hear that, death of a figure. But that said, our mods are working very, very hard to try and keep us on topic. So now that it's said and it's out of the way, let's move on and keep talking about other things on this show. Thank you. How about Almog in Israel? Is it Almog?
Yeah.
Did I say it right?
Kinda, Almog, yeah.
Almog.
Yeah, that's good.
All right, I can dig it. What do you want to talk about?
Hey, guys. First of all, I want to say that I really appreciate the show. I really like it. Really love the job that you're doing. It's amazing. And I will say sorry in advance for my English, and I'm a bit excited, but I'll try to pour my thoughts on you.
It's all good. What's up?
So I live in Israel, and I'm an atheist, and I want to tell you a bit out of field and get what you're thinking and maybe some tips about living as an atheist in a very theist environment. And well, I know my country is not like Iran or Iraq or something, and it's there's worse religion country, but still it's a very religion country, and my family is religion, and I heard you once say, be a good person, do good stuff, let them see that atheists are good people, but I don't get religion force over me every day and day, but still I feel so alone in this country, in this society. I feel that most of the people don't understand me. I feel that it's really hard to find common ground. And where I live in the north of the country, it's really hard. And, I was saying it to the screen callers, some situation that I get often, and I'm a bit ashamed to say it, and you'll understand in a second why, because I know religion people could be intelligent people, smart people, funny people, because religion doesn't mean anything, and religion is a really, really good brainwash. But sometimes when I meet a person and I'm having fun with him, and suddenly I will see he's wearing a cross necklace or something like that, something that is very religion, I will get some antagonism feeling from him. I will get, maybe I don't like this person more as I think I do, because he's believing in stuff that is I don't know. I don't know if it sounds weird or not, and sometimes I even think farther and thinking about immigration. Maybe I should go to a country when I feel there's a lot of people around me that I can get along with, that I don't need to feel that weird and that different in the environment. And I don't know, what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, well, I think that if you have the opportunity and the resources to move, and where you're living right now isn't making you feel at home, then that's definitely an option that I would suggest. I've moved around quite a lot, not to different countries, but around the United States. And yeah, there are some places where I felt completely ostracized and very different and very much like I was an outsider and I couldn't really open up to people because I was an atheist. And I got out of those places as soon as I could. And sometimes it was financially feasible and sometimes it wasn't. But yeah, I think that moving is an option. Insofar as making snap judgments about people based on whether or not they're religious, I understand. I do the same thing sometimes, especially on dating apps. If somebody is a Christian on a dating app, I will generally not even interact with them. But that doesn't say anything bad about them. I just think that probably we have views of the world or values that are going to clash. And so maybe it's not so much of a you aren't a good person, or you're not as good a person as me. It's more of you're not a good person for me, if that makes sense.
Yeah. But I think dating is like one step ahead. Like, let me ask you the same question about friends. Like, you sit in a bar and you're starting to get along with someone really well, and you think you're going to be best friends, and then like you reveal that it's very religion. Do you still keep on trying to make this bonding with him, or you'll just?
I've had best friends that were very, very Christian. People are different, and just because they believe a thing does not mean that they are a certain kind of person. We are so very different that I think we need to be cognizant of taking the moral high road, because what we're speaking out about over here in Texas, in the United States, is that the other way around. There are people who write us off because they think that they know who we are. Mm-hmm. We had King Kong call in earlier, and we want to be exemplars of that there are plenty of people who can have different faith backgrounds who maybe just, hey, this is how I was raised, or hey, this cross necklace is meaningful to me. I actually have a friend who has a cross necklace that they wear, not because that they believe, but because it has a significance to them with someone that they love. Don't write them off right away. When it comes to your love life, for those kinds of things, absolutely. If I'm on Tinder and I see somebody who's wearing a cross necklace, I'm going to swipe left. Yeah, but that's ultimately because this is such an integral part of my life that it would be very difficult to have conversations with somebody that don't involve this. I'm kind of one-track minded right now. This is where my career is going, and so it's a whole lot more powerful. But you may be robbing yourself of opportunities to meet wonderful people and to be a good example with them too. Don't write them off right away. Give people the opportunity to live up to what they can be and show you who they are. We don't want to segment ourselves away.
Yeah, I'm totally agree, and when I'm thinking about it, I know that's the right thing to do, but it's kind of like unconscious feeling that like bubble inside me when I see it. It's like suddenly I don't like them as much as I did before. It's all funny and stupid, but yeah, I know that's the right thing to do, to give them the chance. They could be wonderful people, they can be smart, they can be funny, we can have a good time, even though we don't agree on something. And yeah, what do you guys think, like, there are like major tips for me surviving out here, or don't you think that like immigration is like running away? Because like, I don't know, I really feel weird about going out of my country because I'm an atheist. It's gonna sound extreme to me, although, as you said, V, if you're not feeling well in your environment, it's kind of sounded like the logical thing to do, but it still sounds extreme. So yeah, I'm a bit confused.
No, a move can be scary. It can be a very big step, and you would have to weigh the options. Which one would make you more uncomfortable, and would that be more discomfort in the short run for more comfort in the long run? Or more comfort now for a long time of discomfort following. I do want to echo what Eric said, but I do want to also say that the accepting people who are religious as people who can be close to you only goes so far as their acknowledgement of your right to exist and your right to exist safely. So if you are concerned about your safety with somebody, or you don't know how they would respond if you told them you were an atheist and if that would be a negative or violent response, then you have every right to not only be cautious when approaching religious people, but also to cut off relationships with people who would not be beneficial for you in that way. So yes, definitely give people the benefit of the doubt. Religion does not make a person good or bad. That's a religious concept, one that we don't subscribe to. But if your safety is ever in question, you come first.
Absolutely. But we're running short on time, but hopefully that helped, man.
Yeah. Actually, that's really helpful. It's good to talk with atheist people around the world to share a bit my feeling. And I really love the show, guys. Appreciate everything you're doing. Keep up the good job.
Will do.
Thank you.
Look up atheist skeptic groups in your area, because there probably are some. It's surprising to see, but definitely check it out. And also, you can be anywhere in the world and hop on our Discord. We're going to be there in about a little over 10 minutes talking to people. So tiny.cc/ACA Discord. Come and join us. There are tons of other atheists that you can talk to as well. But take care, man.
Yeah, you too, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think Atheist Vanguard is at 3, so we have to be off Discord by then. So if we want to jump onto Discord, we're going to have to do so fairly soon.
Is that... Okay, well, fine then. So that said, there are a couple of things that came up that I really wanted to say. Atheist Vanguard was one of them. Also, I was on Truth Wanted on Friday, and it is going to be premiering tonight after the Atheist Experience. So at, 6:15 or so?
6:30, yeah.
Yes. Truth Wanted. So write it down, because it's going to be awesome.
Yes, new season.
Yes, it is. And I'm really excited. Also, I saw a whole lot going on in the live chat, and I just wanted to personally say thank you. Best name ever, TARDIS Chick, Inquisitive Quandary, Megan, happy birthday. Go and celebrate it. You're helping out here, but you got to go perfect. Thank you. Thank you, all of you. If I missed your name, I'm incredibly sorry, but our mods are fantastic. They're amazing. I wanted to say thank you personally. I also want to say thank you to everybody on this side of on the other side of this wall who make it happen. That is our crew. They were here before we got here. They'll be here long after we leave, making this happen, putting it out as a podcast, getting everything up. And we could not do it without them. So thank you so much. Thank you, live studio audience. You ready to throw up some love rings?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. That wouldn't happen without Mark.
Nope.
That is amazing.
That's every time.
Can I show you something else really quick?
What's that?
There's a soundboard.
Uh-huh.
It's amazing.
Does it work now?
What is going on? Yeah. I love it. I can do Matt stuff. Hold on. No, wait.
Hey, I'm a normal white guy.
There's some Jamie. I love that. I'm going to be having fun with this for days.
Yep.
Okay.
We're not going to be able to get him out of the studio.
I'm so happy I'm going to be playing with this soundboard.
Late into the night, just tapping the soundboard.
That's fantastic. So for those of you who don't believe, whether you're in Israel and you're looking for community, whether you're a parent who is trying to figure this out, you really aren't alone. You know, there are places to go, and yeah, we're just two people in front of a camera, but we're not the only ones. And we're building this community together, you know. We're not making assumptions on others, but we are reaching out. Yes, it is the answer to a single question. Yes, you don't have to have community to be an atheist. And no, we don't have to agree on everything. But that doesn't mean that we are exempt from building a better world together, to agreeing with those things that we do agree on and fighting for things that are important, like making sure that schools are a safe place for our kids.
Yes.
But for those of you who do believe, we don't hate you. We just think you're wrong. I'm addicted to masturbation. It's time to get sexy. Right?
What are we doing, man? What are we doing?
No, you're done.